You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, sending maps with the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Conway, Julian's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up and let's go. The last thing you need while the ship unrelentingly continues on its course. You work alongside Purse, focused on gradually pulling in the sail. After catching your breath from the climb, you resume where you left off. What did you mean by that? Greasing the wheels? Hey, greasing the wheels. Mind you, I wouldn't recommend making it a habit. Last thing you want to be is the one who always appears to knock on his cabin with something under your arm, you know. Others will start asking questions, and barring any good answers, they'll make up their own reasons for it. You don't want to be the one who's brown-nosing the gentleman. But some little something can go a long way to change someone's view. So I should bring him a gift? What even could I bring him that he probably doesn't already have in abundance? Exactly. He's not hurting with officer's salary, that's for certain. Well, think about what's rationed on this ship. It's gotta be alcohol, isn't it? Purse smirks broadly, miming taking a sip from an invisible bottle. My man, it's what keeps the ship from falling to pieces, the firewood that warms most sailors during harsh days. Or do you think we're looking forward to another evening of ship's biscuits? A good sip of the strong stuff is what makes days like these bearable. And once you know it, the mate's got a bit of a penchant for it. Too much of a penchant, I've heard, but you wouldn't know that from me. You lean against the yard, arms crossed, catching your breath. I'm a sailor like everyone else, though. How am I supposed to get my paws on it? I don't know if you've looked around lately, but I can't exactly visit the next alehouse. Make friends who might be able to arrange it. But Neil's not one to give out more than he's allowed to, but if you're in his good graces, you might let yours accumulate if you practice abstinence. Or if that's not your style, just gamble or barter. I know that a lot of the crew have their own little stash for desperate times, and I'm sure some would be willing to part with it for the right offer. It sounds to me like you're including yourself in that group. He laughs for a moment and gestures for you to continue your task. Ha! Quick one, aren't you? Not officially, no. And would you be willing to part with some of your non-existent fallback? Not that I consider bribing the first mate, of course, but it's good to know that you crew's customs. And if you say that sometimes giving someone a gift is a good way to start over, who am I to break the tradition? You immediately feel awkward having laid it on so thick, but Purse doesn't appear to mind, and his smile remains. Naturally. If you really want, we can talk about it later. When we're drawing, my hand isn't killing me anymore. Some time passes before you secure the sail in its close reef position. As before, he assists you by holding you and the sail steady against the heeling motion of the ship. And the assistance was thoroughly needed by this point. The wind and rain intensify as the ship now continues to navigate under the thick clouds. Gone are the sunny days and fair winds. Instead, just a few days in and you are battling the forces of nature, and you begin to realize the limits of your abilities as you struggle to secure the sail, even with Purse's assistance. When you're done, the yard is decorated, with a few claw marks of yours etched into it for posterity, although by the looks of it they are in good company. Purse descends with the rest of the crew, but you choose to wait until the bulk of the crew had descended and the shrouds are less crowded. Conveniently, it grants you a moment to catch your breath, leaning across the yard. You look down. The deck of the ship looks frighteningly small from this height. Fortunately, vertigo is not something you have to deal with. There you go. Okay. But the building chop of the sea, the utter darkness of it, right below you while the heel of the ship causes the mast to hang off to the side. One wrong move. You make sure to hold on to the yard a little tighter. Soon enough, the last sailor makes it past you from the outer edge of the yard. You help each of them along by pulling in your tail whenever they pass you. You follow them carefully, well aware of how slippery the ropes are becoming. With your paws back on deck, you hurry along the length of the ship, back to the mizzen mast and grab onto the shrouds. Even the deck is becoming treacherous for you, the wet surface leaning off to the side and the swell of the waves rocking the ship strongly enough to threaten your balance. Going up is quickly becoming dangerous in these conditions, especially for you, as someone who doesn't have the wealth of experience of the other sailors. You hesitate and watch the others at first, wondering if you should follow them or not. You climb up and help them. You firm up your grip on the lines, ready to ascend after the other members of the crew. You caused this mess. It's only right that you help them right it. Or how will you look when they return and you're the one who sat out the worst of it? You can already imagine the looks you'd be getting. With the pull of both your arms, you swing your left leg onto the gunwale, and just then a voice interrupts you. You are going where exactly? Arthur doesn't address you by name, but since you've been the target of his ire so often the past few days, you immediately snap in his direction. Going to reef the sails as ordered, sir. He shakes his head and approaches the gunwale, laying his palm on it. You will stay. The conditions are getting too treacherous. But sir, I don't want to be the one who both caused this mess and then sits idly by while the others clean it up. Besides, I'm one of the crew of this ship, just like them. I should be exempt from the jobs they're doing. Isn't that what you want? For me to prove myself? To prove that I'm cut out for this and not just someone who screws up everything I lay my hands on? He considers your case in a lingering silence, raindrops pelting his head as he looks at you. Your case does not appear to convince him, however, and he gives a quick nod back down to the deck of the ship. Get back down. That is an order. You cling to the shrouds for a moment longer before obeying his command, guiding your paws back to the firm wooden deck. I could have done it, sir. Quiet. I've seen enough of you up there to know that I'm not willing to risk it, recruit. Not just risking you, but potentially endangering whoever would have to help you if things go awry. Stupidity may have been the way you impressed your friends back home, but it doesn't hold water on this ship, boy. To add insult to injury, you notice that both Julian and Wolf are up there with the rest, by now bathed in the first rays of faint purple and orange as the sun creeps over the horizon. Sir? You notice his eyes. His eyes find you even though he keeps facing up the mast. Yes? I want to apologize. I messed up. Only now does he turn to face you fully. That you did. I was tired and exhausted and frustrated and just... He faltered and struggled to find the right words. It's all just frustrating. Frustration that you wish Arthur would just get. That he would simply understand and consider your point of view of the situation for even just one moment. There's no excuse for it. He responds firmly, the intensity returning to his eyes as he listens to your excuses. You had your duties and you didn't see them through. It's not even that you simply did not fulfill them to complete satisfaction. No, you completely disregarded them. You completely disregarded my orders. The good of the ship, the lives of the crew. Not only for mine, but for your own sake, I hope that nothing happens. It is not a burden even you should be forced to carry. He reaches for the cuff of his jacket, now so wet that it sticks to his wrist, and undoes one of the buttons to loosen it. Before he addresses you again, he raises his voice and shouts a command to the crew working on the mizzenmast, lowering his voice again afterward. Recruit? Yes, sir? You know where our next port of call will be. Mogador in Morocco, sir. Why? He looks down and turns to you. Do you know much about Morocco, recruit? I do not. A country rather unlike the one you grew up in. Some of our crew call it their home. Rather beautiful country, if I may say so. I'm not sure I follow, sir. I was your age once, a young landsman trying to make an impression. For a moment it almost seems as if he's opening up to you. His voice softens as he begins to reminisce, but after only a moment or two you notice a subtle twitch in his features, and just like that the usual firmness returns. I made mistakes too. There's a stark difference between a young recruit trying to learn the ropes and someone like you. Someone who, for whatever reason, always finds himself at the center of trouble. He crosses his arms, one finger drumming a steady rhythm against the bulk of his other forearm. I've been keeping an eye on you. Not only by myself, but I've asked the crew how you're performing as well. What they might observe you doing during your days. You seize the moment left by a pause of his and let your own words step in. Sir, with all due respect, but that is exactly why I've been struggling. I've been run ragged by... You lean in to defend yourself, but are immediately ignored by Arthur as he dismisses you with a simple closing of his eyes. You've been given every opportunity. No, you've been given more than that. But today you've crossed the line, boy. I can no longer allow you to endanger the rest of the crew. I will make the necessary arrangement with the captain, and as soon as we reach Morocco, you will be let go. Your eyes widen at his words, and the wide open sea feels as if it contracts around you. For several seconds, there is nothing but the indistinct noise that is the pouring rain, the wind, and the churn of the sea. He seems to gauge your reaction for a moment before turning his gaze back up to the rest of the crew. What? The port is well connected to your homeland. Within a month, you should find passage to a port near your home. You can't be serious! Do I look like I'm in the mood for jokes? He does not. With firm features and now appearing thoroughly soaked like yourself, the rainwater clings to his hair and tail, transforming them from their usual wind-blown lightness to bedraggled disarray. You can't seriously be thinking of just leaving me in some godforsaken country! Fueled by desperation, you step forward and seize him by the cuff of his jacket to try and get his attention. Listen to me, damn it! Your grip tightens and you feel the fabric train between your fingers. All this time I've been scrutinized like some petty criminal. He gives you the desired attention, however, the cost of pulling his cuff from your grasp. I mean, you blame me for everything. The crane incident, Samuel's mishap, spilled food, illnesses, damaged planks. You animatedly count the litany of perceived offenses on your fingers. How is anyone supposed to work under these circumstances when every single move I make is questioned? Everyone on this ship tells me what a great first mate you are, but I've yet to see why. All I have seen is someone who, for whatever reason, cannot see even a shred of reason. I'm supposed to become an able sailor? That's what I've been told. Be a good sailor. That's what he wants. And that's exactly what I've been striving for. I've been up for every watch of mine since day one, assisted others whenever asked, learned the ropes as fast as I can, all while under the constant threat of punishment for the slightest misstep. What do you want? Tell me! What the hell do I have to do, sir? If there is anything that can change my mind, you have about 3 more days to figure it out, I reckon. If you'll excuse me, I must report to the captain. He shouts one last set of instructions up into the mast to keep the crew busy in his absence before he turns away from you and leaves you alone on the windswept deck. You look as he, just as everyone else, grapples with the heel and motion of the ship, his silhouette blurred by the rain. And just like that, that's all you're left with. Morocco, and the end of your journey. The dim light below deck casts shadows on the rough-hewn wooden benches. You sit, back resting against the hull, feeling its grain rub against your shirt as you shift back and forth with the sway of the sea. The air damper than it usually is as the rain continues to pour down on the outside. 3 more days. That's all. 3 more days. And then what? All your frustrations. All the things you could do. Curse. Yell. Lash out in any other form. You do none of them. Instead, you take a breath, open your eyes. It wouldn't change anything anyway, so why waste the effort? You recall how you stood on the deck, watching Arthur walk away, remembering the feeling in your chest, now a somber scene to you. A manifestation of your dreams slipping through your fingers, left in some foreign harbor. If only you'd never had this stupid idea in the first place. Sailor. Adventure. You watch the crew trickle in once they finish setting the sails. Ugh. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna pause it right there. I am a bit tired. I'm gonna go ahead and leave y'all right there. Alright. To say I love you all, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!